wait till you hear the story behind this one. So I went to a local computer store, small-time local computer store, that I was actually quite surprised was still open. But it was, and I was looking for something in particular, and happened to see at the front of the store a pile, well, the whole store was pretty much just filled with piles of old computers, and I happened to lay my eye on this, and I thought, well, there's no way that I'm going to be able to get my hands on that, but I asked anyway. And the cashier at the front said, I'll take a look. Came around to the front, had a look at the machine, said, oh yeah, you can just take that. Seriously, you can just take that. So I got what I wanted, grabbed this, and split before they had a chance to change their mind. I don't even really know what's in it, other than the fact that it says Pentium power 100 megahertz on the front. And there is a motherboard and some cables, but it's missing pretty much everything else. It's apparently built by a place called R&H PCs. It says Pentium. As mentioned, 100 megahertz Pentium power. I have no idea if that's actually what's in here. I don't think the turbo switch is really of much use. Does still have the power supply. There's the key lock, which I don't have the keys for, so hopefully it's unlocked. This intrigues me. This is a Creative Sound Blaster drive. And it looks like it's one of the older ones, so I almost wonder if that's a Panasonic drive, or their proprietary creative interface as opposed to IDE, because before IDE, optical drives were a thing. Everybody pretty much had their own proprietary interfaces. So you used to see expansion cards with all kinds of different plugs on them, particularly sound cards, for like Mitsumi, Panasonic, Creative, IDE, what have you. Eventually they all just kind of went away in favor of IDE, which was a good thing. At least they standardized on the popular thing. So, if we look at the back, I guess that's a serial number. Me, which is funny. Looks like 4586 is the model, 4586. Apparently somebody got it approved with the electrical utility, which is funny. I don't think it's still valid, but, you know, it's there. I wonder what power supply that is. Of course, I'm going to have to take the case cover off in order to find out. Which means I've got to take this little plastic thing at the front off, which hopefully I can do that without wrecking anything. Because it's got a couple of screws on it. I thought they were thumb screws, but they're not, so I'm going to have to get a screwdriver and deal with that. Okay, the plastic removed. I've also gone ahead and removed the case cover to reveal what's inside. And like I was expecting, there's not much in here. No hard drive left for me. And there's no floppy drive, obviously. They did leave me some of the cabling. So I do have at least one cable for a hard drive, which I think is actually installed backwards, because you can see the shorter length is installed on the board, and it should not be installed on the board. It should be installed on the drive itself. There's a floppy cable, which is standard A and B, where you could use either type. Oh, look at all this RAM. Wow, this looks like it's maxed out in terms of memory, which is not bad. There's cache installed. And there is still a CPU, socket 5. Again, I don't think it's been upgraded. So what motherboard is this? It should say on it somewhere. This is, no doubt it's an Asus motherboard. P/I P55TP4XE. With a Dallas clock chip. Don't really like to see that, but, you know, what can you do? So, there's no video. I do have a video card sitting out here that I'll probably try with it. And we'll see where we go from there. But I have to think there's probably either something wrong with it. But then again, being in an actual computer shop, maybe there is nothing wrong with it because of how old it is. Maybe they just saw that it was old and we're going to throw it away. But I still don't know what power supply this is. because I can't read any of the markings on it. So I don't really know anything about it, unless it happens to say on the other side, which it doesn't. I do have a date code of August 1995, so I guess there's one thing, but... Well, anyway. Does this thing even have any... Yeah, it does. There's, I guess, one screw there, and the rest of it's just plastic standoffs, which doesn't surprise me. Usually that's what you ended up with systems like this. But I'm going to go plug it in and see what it does. I'm not expecting much. Okay, no keyboard. I don't have one of those out here. But I got it plugged in. Got a random video card. I think it's just like a Mach 64 or something. Nothing good. Let's see what happens. Oh, lights up. Ooh. Pentium S, 100 megahertz. CMOS error. 32 megs of RAM. Wow, that's junk. I figured it'd have more than that. So, I guess I'll have to get a keyboard. And, probably, I might install a Coast module. Because I do have one of those sitting around. So, yeah, I really didn't expect to see that CMOS error, though. Well, actually I did, but I was hoping not to. So, that kind of sucks, really. But, oh well, whatever. As long as the system itself functions, and I guess as long as it will actually boot with that checksum error, which it may not, you never know. So I'll have to get a floppy drive. I'll have to figure out this optical drive, which does open. So I'll have to figure out what drive it actually is, if it's IDE or not, because it could not be. I don't know. So I just unpressed turbo. All it really did was turn off the turbo LED, which I think is a little dirty. Reset switch, which seems to work. I'm just kind of shocked to see 32 megs of RAM. I thought it would have more. Given it's fully maxed out, I'd think that it'd be at least 64. But... So what is that? Those are 8 megabyte modules a piece. I wonder if I can do better than that. I probably can. I probably do have better RAM selection for 72-pin SIMs than that. But... Okay, a couple things. You can see I've installed a hard drive. I've also installed a floppy drive. You can see there. And a different optical drive, because as it turns out, the original drive is a Creative model CR563B. This is a Panasonic drive with a Panasonic interface. This is not an IDE drive. I believe I'm telling you correct when I say that anyway. Somebody will probably tell me I'm wrong, but research that I was able to find suggested that this is, yeah, you can see it, ID 0123. Yeah, that's not IDE. There's no way that's IDE. So, can't use that unless I find a Creative Sound Blaster, and because I don't have one, and I'm not going to go looking for one, because I don't think this really needs one. Well, at least not one that would work with. This is what we've got. So, we're going to give it another power up. I've got a keyboard hooked up this time. Yeah, we got a backwards cable in here somewhere because you can tell it's not powering on. So, which cable's backwards, I don't know. But we're going to find out. So if we look at the front... Oh, I thought I would find that the hard drive LED is on solid. Floppy drive LED is on solid, so I think all the cables are actually on backwards on this. So that's neat. Very neat. Okay, I forget where I left off with this, but what I've done now, I have the hard drive, I've got the floppy drive, I had to fix the cable, I have that. But there's two things I want to point out. Number one is, watch this. You'll see that it sits there and does nothing. If I go to the front and I hit the reset button, then it works. Which is a little strange. Apparently it won't cold boot. It does retain settings. But I want to mention this. See, this is running Windows 95. This is out of system from work. That former 386 sitting over there. And, take a look at what happens once Windows starts. I mean, you can see it's got a whole bunch of crap. It's loaded there. I don't know what that's all about. I may have mentioned this in my original look through the machine. I don't remember if I did. Yeah, I don't have a mouse, doesn't matter. It's going to look for a network card that this doesn't have. Could always install some. I actually do have some of those sitting around. It's an SMC Etherlink 16 or something. EtherCard 16 Ultra. Elite 16 Ultra, I should say. I do have a couple of those sitting around, so I could install one. Well, here's what it does next. See, it starts loading the desktop, all kinds of crap, and then we get this pop-up here. Windows cannot find files32.vxd. It tries to read the floppy drive. It's doing a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't know what it's doing exactly, but this is of intrigue because files32.vxd is not a Windows file. That is actually a piece of malware. I looked it up. Apparently this thing has been infected at some point with the Pretty Pink virus. And I'm guessing it was improperly removed, because that right there is basically the virus, or it's not really a virus, it's more of a Trojan horse or a worm, because it doesn't really infect files. That's what a computer virus is. But we'll call it a worm. The worm body is in that file there. So I don't really know what happened. I'm guessing it was deleted improperly, but now what we've ended up with is a system that won't run anything. So you can see it pops up several times. If I try, I don't have a Windows key on this keyboard. If I go to try and run something, that calculator, you can see we can't even open calculator. Command.com should open. If I do that, yeah, it's only exe files that it prevents from opening. So, and I got some work to do on this. But at the very least, the base system itself works. So all I need to do is just reinstall Windows. Probably format the entire drive before doing so. I haven't decided if it's going to get, it will get 95, but I haven't decided which version of 95 it's going to get. It'll probably get like OSR1 or something, or maybe even RTM, but on CD. I'm not installing it from floppy. I'm not sitting through that again. I've already done that twice. It's really quite a pain, but 32 megs of RAM, Windows 98 really won't run that well with 32 megs. You really need like 64. In fact, honestly, I would make the assertion you need 128 plus for Windows 98 to work, with all of its bloated, overactive desktop and Internet Explorer garbage. But at least this works. It's a good start. We'll take a look at that in another video. Right now, I've got this done. I've got other things I would like to work on. So, We'll revisit this later. You can see it says 100. The turbo switch doesn't make a difference.